Okay, well, we're going to be recessing to closed session, but we have two items. Will you speak into those items, please?
Yes, so we have item number 1, conference with legal counsel pursuant to Government Code Sections 54956.9, D2 and E2 for anticipated petition litigation 2 matters. And we also have number 2, the successor agency will confer with its real property negotiator, Ernie Hernandez, with respect to real estate negotiations concerning potential properties related to Camp Commerce 2.
Okay, we are now recessed to closed session. Thank you. from closed session. Can we have the attorney to report out for a closed session, please?
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. With all 5 members of the council being present, and actually let the record reflect that Councilmember Rebollo met with the City Council in closed session, and she's now joined us for the regular session. So with all 5 members of the City Council being present, City Council met and discussed the following items. Item number 1, there was 2 matters. City staff made presentations on both. City Council provided direction on both. No final reportable action was taken. Item number 2 was discussed. City staff made a presentation. City Council provided direction. No final reportable action was taken. And that concludes my report out of closed session. Thank you.
Thank you. So the 6 p.m. regular meeting is now started. Can we please have a call to order? Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Argumedo,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Rebollo,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lainez,
Here.
and Mayor Altamirano.
Here. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Director Guy Stone and invocation by Councilwoman Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council, members of the public. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. As we gather tonight in this week of Thanksgiving, let us take a moment to reflect with gratitude for our community, for the people who we serve, and for the opportunities we have to work together for a common good. May this meeting be guided by collaboration, respect, and shared commitment to the well-being of all who call commerce home. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and open up public comment, and it looks like we have one public comment card. We're waiting because Central Basin has a public comment. Gary? Okay. Gary Mendez?
Oh, and Mr. Crawford.
Jim Crawford? Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure if we were on public comment or on the agenda, so thank you for having us. I wanted to.
Okay, so this is the actual presentation? Is that what's going on? This is the actual presentation.
If we're allowed to proceed, yes.
Go ahead.
Very good.
Please.
We're here on behalf of Central Basin. My name is Jim Crawford. I'm one of the directors, appointed directors for the Central Basin Municipal Water District. This is one of our board members also with me, Gary Mendez. One of our directors serving your region is the Whittier area. Okay. We're here today to represent the agency, and I want to thank you for allowing us to present here. It's great to see everybody. As you know, I'm also from Cal Water, but today I'm here with the Central Basin, so honored to be here. And I wanted to thank you guys for provide our sincere appreciation for allowing us to use the Commerce facilities for our board meetings. This happened over numerous years, and we had monthly meetings, we had committee meetings, we had a variety of things there, and they're only possible by the gracious city, the council, the staff, and everybody. So we want to thank you that. We're grateful for the support and collaboration provided the city leadership and staff. Your willingness to accommodate those meetings reflects the strength of our ongoing relationship and our commitment to foster effective collaboration in the region. Our partnership with the CDO contract is deeply valued in the water industry. Working closely with local cities is essential to maintaining reliable water service and ensuring our communities' needs that are met with integrity and with responsiveness. Your cooperation makes a meaningful difference in how we plan, operate, and serve the region. So thank you for your support and partnership. And with that, I just wanted to say thank you for that. And we appreciate your efforts. We were in the room for possibly about 3 years. So that was only possible by you guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And Director Mendez, you have anything to add?
The experience is very pleasant. You know, your staff were excellent. The facility's well maintained. We appreciate that. And I don't know if you know about the Bristol Park Gatos, the cats. They were also a very good experience. But we want to thank you for your generous a donation by us being able to use that facility. And I think that represents our relationship with the city, and whatever we could do to help you in water issues, we're readily available. We're going to be doing some rounds in the next year to update people on Central Basin and what we're doing in our effort to find fiscal stability and other governance issues. So we're looking forward. And again, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you.
That completes what we had. We do have a certificate. We're hoping we could maybe take a picture. We provided you with some Central Basin goodie bags, so if we could possibly get a picture with the council.
Yeah. Let's take a picture. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up public comment. And we have a speaker. You can speak for 3 minutes. It is Tom Chow.
Hi, good evening, honorable council members. My name is Tom Chow. I'm here, the resident of Commerce. I'm very deeply concerned about the agenda item 6. I hope the council will designate the amendment to make the area for civic center and to avoid any potential CEQA related lawsuit. CEQA, which means the California Environmental Quality Act. I already asked the city council for the confirmation. I have been told the official opinion will be provided and the second hearing is today. So I hope the council will introduce an amendment to make this area like close to the tick in the box for a civic center. Last weekend, Turkey drought clearly shows that this area is important. It's close to the central receiving. If the civic center were being built there, it could be host art exhibitions, music, and a youth program, adult vocational training, open air performance. This would be save up costs, make events easier, and provide space for community activities. Such other cities in California, such as Beverly Hills, Long Beach, our neighbors, Rosemead, have successfully introduced civics, culture, and educational use in mixed use or overlay zone without facing any state penalty. So no worry about that. I'm willing to volunteer my time to help plan and raise funds for this project, ensuring this becomes a lasting landmark and be benefit for generations of Commerce residents. This civic center would enhance major events like providing culture and educational opportunities and strengthen the commerce identity as a vibrant, caring community. Thank you all for your time and consideration. I hope you guys will support this amendment to create a civic center for the benefit of all residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Ernie, can you have Jessica call Tom to explain item number 6? I know it's really pushed by the state. We don't have. Can you explain a little bit to Tom? He's asked that question each time he's come on.
So this is the public comment. I think I'll take your recommendation and we'll set up time to meet with him and kind of walk over through why this is required per state guidelines and why the city's hands are essentially tied with regards to any major amendments to the housing element.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Tom, you're going to be getting a phone call, okay? Okay, at this time then we'll move on. Public comment is now closed, or let's see, the letter is also from Tom, right? Okay.
For the record, Tom also provided a written public comment, which was distributed to council and to the city manager and city attorney.
Okay, public comment is now closed. We're moving on to consent calendar. Right now we have items 1 through 9. Is there a motion to approve items 1 through 9?
If there's no comments or questions, I would move to approve the items.
I would also like to make a note on for the record that for item number 9, there was an error. The recommendation, it should be towards the end of the recommendation that the council will consider authorizing 62 contract amendments instead of 67. And if approved by the city attorney, within 120 days to formalize these service agreements. So those are the corrections.
Thank you.
So I would, once again, move to approve as amended with that last addition to item number 9.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Can I pull 6 and then get a roll call?
Okay. We're pulling item number 6.
I need just a roll call.
And she's going to request the roll call. So can you amend your motion then from 1 through 5, 7, 8, 9?
Sure. I'll amend it.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Motion number 6. I mean, I'm sorry. Now we go to item number 6. And who? You need to hear the presentation on this, or what did you want?
I just want a roll call.
Roll call. Or what motion? Are you making a motion on number 6? Wait, you make a motion. There you go.
Sorry,
Is there a motion for approval or number 6?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, there's.
The answer is no.
Okay, let's, so I would move to approve item number 6 according to the staff report. Do the roll call and then she can abstain.
I have a question, and the question is more related to the discussion we had previously on this item. I believe we directed staff to work out some issues that we were discussing at the last city council meeting. And I would just like to know about how those were mitigated. I specifically asked for accountability with regards to how we were going to address, I didn't want to displace any of our residents to allow for somebody from the outside to participate in our programs.
This is
different item.
This is item number 6.
This is the church.
My apologies, guys.
Yeah, can you explain what 6 is?
Yeah, my apologies. Thank you for correcting that.
Just for the record, can you explain the item, please?
Certainly.
Like just the, yeah.
So item number 6 is the city's approval of the housing element portions related to go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Jessica Serrano, your Community Development Director. Item number 6 is the adoption and second reading of an ordinance to implement the housing element. Part of this includes rezoning certain properties to allow housing, and it also includes the creation of a new mixed-use zoning ordinance. So there's amendments to the code, and then there's also changes to our zoning map and our general plan map. And these are all programs that were previously approved when you adopted the housing element. And this is just an implementation of those programs. That's a brief synopsis of this item. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions?
I think I would just add a comment that most surrounding cities at this point do have an approved housing element. I think Commerce is one that still doesn't. The city of Compton is another. There's a couple of more, right? But as far as the Gateway region, and just because I saw this data last week, the large majority already have an approved housing element, and we are behind, right? Would that be accurate to say?
We do have an approved housing element. It was approved last November, 2024. So this is an implementation action of that approved housing element.
Okay, but it's been approved by HCD?
HCD gave us a conditional approval, and they said, your housing element complies with state law, but you have to complete this item number 6 in order for you to get a full certification. And at this point, after the first reading in October, we transmitted all of the approval documents to HCD for their review. We're waiting on them to hear back from them on that.
And I think that's what I was referencing,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mayor, and just to follow up, and we're way behind many other cities. If you just go to Alhambra, if you go to other cities, they're already doing a lot of mixed use. And they're fully taking advantage of that, and I believe that it looks phenomenal. Some of the projects that they've implemented in some of their communities look great, and I think we need to move forward, not basically stay behind. And other cities are moving a lot quicker than we have been. We need to move forward and revitalize our community and bring in the mixed-use housing here in our community. And I think it would be a great benefit to many here in our city. So, thank you.
Okay, so my motion still stands to approve staff's recommendation to adopt and waive the second reading. Would that read correctly?
I would second that.
There's a motion and there's a second. Councilwoman Garcia wanted to see a roll call.
Roll call vote, please.
So would you like? Okay, there's a motion second. All in favor for numbers?
Do the roll call vote, please.
Roll call.
Do the roll call.
Okay, roll call, please.
Okay. Councilmember Argumedo,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Rebollo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lainez,
Yes.
and Mayor Altamirano.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I believe Councilmember Garcia intended to pull item number 5. So that was approved. Now, if we would reconsider that approval and allow that to go through, I think, a roll call vote, that was what her intent was.
Yes.
City Council, are you guys okay with bringing item number 5 back?
I'm okay moving forward with that.
Okay, we'll bring back item number 5. Is there anybody that's going to report on this, or you just wanted to vote on it?
I just want to vote on it.
She wants to vote on it. So there's a motion is there a motion to approve item number 5?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I would second that
There's a
motion.
second. Would you like to see a roll call?
Yes.
Can I please have a roll call?
Okay. Councilmember Argumedo,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Sorry for the confusion. No.
Councilmember Rebollo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lainez,
Yes.
and Mayor Altamirano.
Yes. Motion passes. Move on to scheduled matters. Non-scheduled matters. We have item number 10 is a presentation and update from the Sheriff Department.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, good evening. Hope all is well. Sergeant Barreras with the Sheriff's Department, liaison sergeant for City of Commerce, with your public safety presentation. Next slide, sir. These are going to be part 1 crimes for the month of October, from the 1st to the 31st. And those include assaults, robberies, burglaries, thefts, auto thefts, and arsons. For the month of October, Commerce had 10 assaults, 2 robberies, 20 burglaries, 66 thefts, 28 auto thefts, and no arsons. Next slide. For this slide, it's going to be Part 1 crimes for the month of October. Here what we do is we compare the Part 1 crimes, again, which include assaults, robberies, burglaries, thefts, auto thefts, and arsons, with bordering cities that we also patrol, including Cudahy, Maywood, and East LA Unincorporated. And on the right-hand side, just for reference, we also provide some information to cities pertaining to its size and population, just as reference. For assaults for the month of October, Commerce had 10, Cudahy 6, Maywood 3, East LA Unincorporated 55. Robberies, Commerce had 2, Cudahy 4, Maywood 1, East LA 22. For burglaries, Commerce 20, Cudahy 6, Maywood 4, East LA 17. For thefts, Commerce 66, Cudahy 10, Maywood 15, East LA 85. Auto thefts, Commerce had 28, Cudahy had 7, Maywood 6, East LA 55. And for arsons, no city reported any arsons. Next slide, please. Here's the total number of arrests for the month of October from the 1st to the 31st. We had 31 felonies and 61 misdemeanor arrests for the month. Next slide, sir. Next one. All right. So October 18th, breast cancer awareness was a 5K walk over at the Citadel. Deputies and Commerce public safety officers assisted with traffic control and provided a safe environment for all attendees during the walk. We had no reported issues or problems that were brought to our attention. Next slide. Next slide. October 22nd, Red Ribbon Week. It was an event at both Rosewood Park STEAM Academy and Bandini Elementary. Next slide. Special thanks to Deputy Moss and his canine Atos for coming out and putting on a demonstration for the kids and the school staff. Also want to thank East LA Sheriff's Explorers who made themselves available and assisted with making this event possible. That's how McGruff got out there. Next slide. And that's the K9 deputy and Atos. Hard to see, but he's a black shepherd. Next slide. Let's see. So the K9 and McGruff are the stars of the show. Obviously, the kids loved every moment. We handed out bracelets and stickers. Must have been thousands of them. It was a good time. The staff enjoyed themselves. The kids enjoyed themselves. Lastly, I want to thank Rebecca Maransky for facilitating and coordinating this event for both schools. I know it was quite the undertaking. It meant a lot to her. It was evident because of her enthusiasm. She nailed it. Without her, it would have been more difficult for sure. So thank you, Rebecca. Next slide, sir. Halloween. October 31st is the annual Commerce Halloween Trunk or Treat at City Hall. Deputies participated with handing out candy and other treats to children and adults wearing costumes. Next slide. We were able to provide candy throughout the event. Also, thank you, Commerce PSOs or public safety officers who provided backup and much needed candy refills because we were running out. Adults taking too much. Next slide. We had a business watch meeting. This was going to be, when was this? The 21st of October. It was over at the 4900 block of Alexander Street in Commerce, along with some City of Commerce public safety divisions. We had the opportunity to engage in discussion and dialogue with representatives of local businesses within the immediate area about general safety concerns, quality of life concerns. We hope to meet in the future, again, and continue this line of communication and dialogue between the East LA Sheriff Station and local businesses. That will conclude my presentation. Any questions?
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Sarge, appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll move on to committee and commission.
Mayor, actually, we will actually be opening up the special agenda meeting. So we will, on your direction, we'll open it and we'll also take another roll call.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up this special meeting. Can I please have a roll call?
Councilmember Argumedo?
Here.
Councilmember Garcia?
Here.
Councilmember Arroyo?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lainez,
Here.
and Mayor Altamirano.
Here.
And Mr. Mayor, if I might, just to explain for the public what just happened, we scheduled a meeting, a special meeting of the city council, and we weren't able to post it until 6:55 PM, so we could not call the roll any sooner than 6:55. So that's what's happening now, is now we're going to have two meetings running concurrently, both our special and our regular meeting. So just, again, just an explanation for the public.
Thank you to our attorney for explaining that. We're back on item number 11, committee appointments. Committee and commission appointments.
Your discretion, Mayor, we can go to item number 11, or we can go items 2 and 3 of the special meeting. Your discretion.
Okay, we're going on to item number, do I need to open up public comment? No. We already did, right? Okay, so we're going on to item number 2 and 3, so we'll start off with number 2.
No, Mr. Mayor, I would recommend that you open up special comments for this special meeting.
Okay.
If we're going to go on to items number 2 and 3.
Public comments now open. Is there any public comments for this special meeting? See none, public comments closed. So we'll go on to item number 2, and it's a resolution to approve the land exchange agreement for the properties located at 7316 Gage Avenue. Who's going to be speaking to me?
So Honorable Mayor and Member City Council, staff will present a staff report as it relates to both items number 2 and number 3, the resolution to approve a land exchange agreement and a resolution to approve a final track map. Also, Mr. Adrian Comstock, the applicant, is in the audience to answer any questions related to, specific to the project.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Jessica Serrano, your Community Development Director. And the items 3 and 4 on tonight's special meeting agenda are approvals of the land exchange agreement, final map, and securities with the related to the division of land for the Modelo project. Next slide. The developer for this project is Comstock Gage, LLC. Oh, you don't have it? Okay. I'll do a presentation. Oh, okay, sorry about that. I could have sworn I emailed it, but I'll just do a verbal presentation here. The developer is Comstock Gage, LLC. The Modelo project site is comprised of 2 sites, an adjacent vacant parcel at 7316 Gage Avenue, which is owned by the developer, and the existing Veterans Memorial Park located at 6364 Zindel Avenue, owned by the city, which is currently a city park. The Modelo project site is generally situated in the southernmost portion of the City of Commerce, adjacent to the communities of Bell Gardens, Downey, Montebello, and Pico Rivera, and close to the I-5 freeway. The Modelo project was previously approved by City Council on February 15 and February 22nd, 2022. And the approval was to allow for the construction of up to 850 residential units, up to 165,000 square feet of commercial uses, a new public community center and museum, and approximately 5 acres of park and open space. The City Council approved the Modelo project entitlements, including a site plan review, a master sign program, a vesting tentative map, a zone change, general plan amendment, Modelo specific plan, a development agreement, and an environmental impact report. At this point, the city staff and the developer have been working together and negotiating the terms of the land exchange agreement and reviewing the final map and the subdivision improvement agreement. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to our legal counsel, Noel Tapia, and he's going to get into further details about those agreements.
Thank you. And as was shared, the Modelo project was approved by the City Council on February 15th and February 22nd, 2022. Central to the approval was a development agreement. And central to the project was the concept of swapping properties. The city was going to swap It's Veterans Park property for an adjacent parcel that also is adjacent to the freeway. We call that the Comstock property. So central to this project was the swapping of the two properties. And once the land was, the titles exchanged between the Comstock and the city, then the developer, the project includes subdividing the property so that it would have different parcels so that he could develop the 850 units, I believe is the number, in various commercial uses. And as part of that subdivision, there's a final map, which is, or a map, and now tonight it's for you to consider the final map and approval. And legally, when you subdivide property, there's also a requirement where we have a subdivision improvement agreement, which is certain protections to make sure that infrastructure that is required pursuant to the proposed project, that there are bonds in place to make sure that those improvements are either provided directly by the developer or by a bond in the event of the need for a bond. So that's before you tonight. And these approvals tonight, we're asking the city council, again, it's a final map, it's a land exchange agreement, and it's a subdivision improvement agreement. We're asking tonight that these be conditional approvals, and the resolutions for the approval of the final map and the subdivision improvement agreement and the resolution for the land exchange agreement includes 5 conditions that must be satisfied before this, if the council approves it tonight, before the approval would become final and effective. And so again, those 5 conditions are in the resolutions for the final map, subdivision improvement agreement, and the land exchange agreement. And so we're ready to answer any questions. And again, the developer, Mr. Adrian Comstock's here to answer any questions as well.
Is there any questions for the developer or staff? I don't see that there's any questions.
Mayor, if I may, I don't have any questions, but the contingencies seem to make sense. I think those are important. But one of the things that I'd like to bring up is that eventually Veterans Park, that facility is going to be demolished, right? And so at that point, the Commerce Crush will no longer have a facility to practice in, right? So I know one of the things that we had talked about previously through conversations with the developer is the construction of a temporary facility that would help bridge the gap, right, between, the demolition of the gym, right, at Veterans Park and the construction of the new facility or the new community center in the new land. So for me, I just want to make sure that we find the Commerce Crush a home, right? And so what can we do to ensure that that's included as part of this agreement?
So one of the things I think we can do, and Mr. Comstock can come up and speak to it, is add a condition related to this item. So I'll let you speak, and then we'll propose some language.
Sure. And if you don't mind, just 2 minutes, I can just do a quick little run through about Modelo, and then I can address that question. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
With all of you, if you don't mind? Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight and to be here in front of all of you. Just some brief notes here. Really interesting coincidence that 13 years ago, 2012, this week, this Thanksgiving week, before Thanksgiving, things were slow in my office, and when I discovered that the land was available that I ended up acquiring that we're talking about tonight. So it literally is 13 years to the day or the week. And there's been a lot of history on this, and I want to just commend the city staff, city attorneys, and by staff I mean the planning, city manager, the city parks and rec staff, Public Works. Over the 13 years, we've worked with staff, and it's been, really inspiring to me at how hard and how passionate the staff is about making this a great community for the people who live here. So I wanted to commend them and also the City Council, of course, the last but not least, and most of you were on the council when this project was first brought to you, and when it was actually, before it was this project, it was a different concept for the land, and some of you were on planning commission, some of you were on council, but I just want to thank everybody for that effort. So this tonight marks a milestone I think is really significant for the community, and I feel grateful and fortunate to be part of the effort to contribute to the milestone. Modelo, Spanish word for model, Commerce, the model city. It's all about model living and creating a better place for people to live, for having the tide lift all boats, instead of creating something high and pushing people down. This is about lifting people up. And meant to be a development that's inspirational, aspirational, and also affordable and attainable. It's also an environmental cleanup, as we all know. It's 25 feet deep, over 17 acres. It's 460,000 cubic yards of contaminants and waste that is being removed from the city and safely sent in other places in California that are authorized by the Water Board. And that will create a much better community and safety for air quality and water quality for everybody. And then what is really close to my heart is the 21st Century Park and Community Center. I actually like brutalist architecture in the current community center that exists now, but I do think it's time for the model city to have a model community center and park, and a park that has more uses. That's accessible to all types of children and seniors and people of all ages, and has multiple sports, multiple activities. And so I really look forward to collaborating with the city and helping build the best community center possible for the city and the community. And be a source of pride, and especially with it being positioned on the freeway, will attenuate the noise and pollution so that the fields and the public parts of the community center and park are protected from the freeway, but it's also going to be visible, and the architecture hopefully will speak in a way that is a source of pride for the city. And then finally, all the employment, the jobs, the economic injection of the hundreds of jobs of people who will work at the 165,000 square feet of retail, the hundreds, if not over 1,000 people who will construct and build the project, with LIUNA and Creed, and a number of the different labor unions that have signed the project labor agreement, that also live within the Southeast LA and LA County region. And then finally, the museo. And kind of pet project for me happens to be that the mayor and I both have a soft spot for art and bringing arts and enhancing arts and interest in arts to the community. And while it's really the tail wagging the dog on this project, once we are in full momentum on the project, I'll be very excited to share with the city council and the city staff our plans for the museum that will feature and focus on Chicano, Los Angelino, and Latin American art and art influences. So just a quick summary to remind everybody the bullet points of the project and how excited we are for it. After the project was approved and when we realized that the community center was going to be removed for a period of time during the construction, we did have some informal verbal discussions between Comstock and the city about how to arrange for the Crush volleyball team and any other indoor sports activities for the Parks and Rec Center, and we've kind of gone through a process of initially we thought, we can erect a temporary structure on if the city can provide us land that's, say, a 1 to 2 acre size piece of land, we can erect a temporary structure, that kind of looks like a tent, but it has aluminum frames. There are a lot of bells and whistles that take that from being kind of a $200,000 or $300,000 thing to like $1 million thing. And so I think we have to figure out what the bells and whistles are and what exactly the city needs and wants. That's one option at the end of the spectrum, is probably the most premium option. Other options are, we're fortunate enough to own a property at Garfield and Bandini that could be adapted and used by the crush for a period of time. We own another property in a nearby city that I believe the city staff visited today. Those properties, however, are independently owned by Comstock and other partners, and I can't speak for their commitment yet because it may be more expensive than what the city or Comstock could afford to be able to rent. However, we've also said at the other end of the spectrum is that Comstock can just make a contribution, a one-time contribution to the city, and the city and staff can just choose to spend that money how they wish. And whether that's renting a space at, I think the Montebello School District has a number of facilities that were being previously used by a Catholic school in the region, and that Catholic school has now remodeled their gym. And so I think there may be hours available at Montebello School District, and I believe it's $96 an hour from our last research. We're happy to say, let's fund, 2,000 hours of $96 an hour at a Montebello School, district facility. That's a process that, the city can go through, but I just want to offer that we will try to work as productively and efficiently as possible with city staff to arrange whatever is necessary to be able to make sure that the crush has a place to go spike the balls and make it happen.
I think in speaking with Mr. Comstock, he was amenable to adding a condition to the proposed conditions tonight. So I think when we're done with the questions, the city attorney will propose some language related to that for the city council to consider as part of the consideration of both resolutions.
Adrian, can we take you back to the conversation that you've had with staff and even council? We even received a presentation about different types of the temporary facilities, the sprung, like tent and whatnot. And at that time, we got presentations, I believe, different types, high end and, mid-range. Some of them could be up for as much as 10 years and beyond, but obviously that would be at a cost. I believe that makes a lot more sense to us. That, I believe, would be what we set our minds to, actually. We've had different discussions. We've had, maybe we've even looked at different parts where we could potentially put it on a temporary basis. That seems to make more sense to us. And I'm hoping that we can reach an agreement that would include something along those lines. I think that would be more feasible for the community. It's within our community. It would meet all of our needs in terms of providing it not only for our crush program, but other events, other programs that we may deem feasible. And not only that, it would be all weather, meaning we can use it year round. So we're hoping that we can move in that direction and come up with a reasonable agreement with you on what that would be. And I think that would be very feasible for us. That's the direction we'd like to move in, I think. Yeah. So I just want to put that out there, and we've had that discussion. And so early on, that's part of what it led us to believe that was what we were going to do. And so I want to make sure we follow up and we do move in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have your commitment on that?
Yeah, no, I acknowledge that, and I appreciate that. And look at you. I think most of you have met Howard Clark, our head of construction development. We've already researched. We know the vendors, and we know the process, how long it takes to construct, and how much it costs for the different sort of iterations or types of a temporary structure like that. But a stout temporary structure. So it's really, but the only thing we don't control or we can't do is have that land. So if the city can provide us that land piece or that location, we can very quickly and easily coordinate, that we can build and erect something. We've already budgeted for a certain, dollar amount. If we need to tweak that or adjust that a little bit, that's, we'd be, very happy to accommodate the city and what it needs. I think we just have to come up with a very specific scope of the uses and other things, right? It's bathrooms, air conditioning, ventilation, right? Those are things. And then the city needs to figure out how parking and access goes and whatever that land piece is. But as long as we can kind of keep it at a reasonable, like you said, set of scope of work, we'd be happy to provide that kind of structure. I think it'd be great.
Happy to hear that. and I'm sure that we'll work to provide an adequate location for that. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other comments or questions?
Mine is more for staff. If I can just get an update on the temporary park. So it's more staff related. Not now, but if I could just get it soon. Community's been asking. Thank you.
I'll provide you a detailed status this
you.
week.
Just thank you. I was on the city council when you first came to us, and it's been no secret, right, how frustrated I've been, and I know that I have had very extensive conversations where I have not been very happy, but I'm glad that we're here now. I'm glad that you're now committing for us on the dais, on the record, to provide that facility, because I know that that is one of the conversations you and I have, right, and you understood where I was coming from as far as making sure that we made the community whole. We know it's been too long. They have felt neglected. It's a collaboration of all of us, right? That we failed them. So I'm glad that you're here now, that everybody's falling on their sword, and that we're going to move forward. It is refreshing to hear. So I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for the presentation. And let's get moving on that facility.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Comstock. Appreciate all your hard work. I know it's been a lot, so I appreciate your vision. Yes, I appreciate your love for art and what you want to do with this these buildings. And I know it wasn't easy, but here we are, right, moving forward. So thank you for everything you've done for our city. Thank you. Okay, so at this time, then, there's going to be a motion.
Thank you.
Yes.
I believe, thank you, Mayor. I believe the city attorney had some proposed language for this additional condition. Could we hear what that is?
Certainly. So I propose adding the following condition as condition number 6 to both resolutions. And the condition is as follows: Comstock and city reach written agreement regarding Comstock's assistance in providing temporary space for city recreation uses. I believe that is flexible enough to kind of consider different options, but ultimately it would require a written agreement, a write-off on both parties on what ultimately the solution is going to be. So again, it's Comstock and the city reach written agreement regarding Comstock's assistance in providing temporary space for city recreation uses. So my suggestion is that we add that to both resolutions as condition number 6 to both.
Sure. Okay, so then at this time, then it's recommended that we adopt the resolution, and we're going to be approving a land exchange between the City of Commerce and Comstock Gauge LLC for the properties located at 7316 Gage Avenue, which is the developer's property, and 6364 is Zendale Avenue, which is the city's property, and the extra additional action that we just took, or that you guys added, item number 6.
Right, so if I can suggest a motion, if it's a motion to approve, we have 2 items. It's item 2 and 3. So my recommendation is that the motion is to approve staff's recommendation for item number 2 and number 3 with the additional conditional number 6 attached to both resolutions for item number 2 and number 3.
So when you're saying 2 and 3, are you talking about what's on when it reads on the agenda 2 and 3, or we're still on number 2?
No, we're discussing item number 2 and 3 at the same time.
Okay, we're discussing, okay, both.
Yes,
at the
sir.
same time. Got it, understood. Okay, is there a motion to move forward?
I would move to approve.
There's a motion, I'll second. All in
And just for
favor?
the record, it's consistent with my recommendation, right?
Consistent with your recommendation, absolutely.
There's a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. So congratulations, Mr. Comstock. Let's build Veterans Park.
So happy being here.
All right.
I'm finally happy with you.
Okay, so we're back on item number 11, which is committee and commission appointments. And I am not ready for my commission appointments yet. And I think there's another council member.
And I'll be continuing mine also.
So there are currently three vacant commission seats. One in the Library Commission for Mayor Altamirano's recommendation, which we will continue in the next meeting. One in the Youth Advisory Commission, which will be recommended by Councilmember Argumedo, which will also be continued in the next meeting. And one in the Education Commission that will be recommended by Councilmember Garcia. Yes.
I'm recommending Kiana Hernandez for the Education Committee.
So we have to do motion and vote
Oh, we need a vote on that?
for Kiana.
Really?
Yes.
We never voted for our commissioners. By who? Really?
Yeah, we've never voted, but okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? There's a motion, and a second?
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Thank you. Moving on to item number 12, the guidelines for competitive sports. We're going to report on that. You see it, Doctor.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor Lainez, and council members. Adolfo Marquez, Assistant. Parks and Recreation. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. And tonight I'll be presenting on the guidelines for competitive sports for your consideration. These guidelines are meant to keep us staff accountable. And if we can move to the second slide. Each sport will establish recruitment and registration tryout periods according to its respective season schedule, followed by priority resident recruitment will occur first. Outreach will include flyer distribution, social media promotion, citywide notices, and coordination with our local schools and coaches to maximize awareness and participation for our local residents. Resident registration and tryouts will be conducted in a manner that gives residents the first opportunity to register and try out. Followed by number 4, upon completion of resident registration/tryout, staff will finalize and record the official team roster. This will hold our staff accountable to the team roster. 4A includes playing up tradition. In keeping with the long-standing Commerce tradition, a registered athlete may be allowed to play up in an older age division when the need arises. Such movement will be based on program needs, staff assessment, and the athlete's readiness to compete at a higher level. Slide number 4, thank you. A resident waiting list will be maintained for each team. That, again, helps staff, helps us hold each other accountable to make sure that residents are still our priority. If additional recruitment opportunities arise during the season, residents on the list will be contacted and notified of additional opportunities to register or try out. Number 6, a non-resident recruitment if needed, and only if needed, if roster remains unfilled after our resident recruitment and no additional residents are on the waiting list, non-resident tryouts and registration will be open to complete the roster. Next slide. Non-resident participation is approved on a season-by-season basis only. Non-resident athletes are not grandfathered into future travel sports and must must reapply for participation only if space is needed. I mean, if we need athletes. Slide number 6, I have examples here of resident and non-resident fees that we currently charge the programs that we allow non-resident participation. In preschool, it's doubled. In recreation sports, it's tripled. It includes a shirt in the awards banquet. Our ballet folklorico, it's doubled. HIT is free for residents and $24 for non-residents. And travel sports is $99, and it is recommended by the coaching staff to propose a $200 fee for non-residents. I did meet with the coaching staff, both the aquatics and, land sports. It was a late evening at Veterans Park after, I believe, crush practice, and the land sport athletes were present, and they did share, particularly the soccer coaches, that raising it above that would not assist them in their goal to have a bench or even a decent roster to be competitive. So I am bringing their recommendation forward. And of course, these are for your consideration, and it's at your direction and discretion. And this concludes my report.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Hi, Jolfo. Thank you for your presentation. Just a few questions. How would you conduct the tryouts?
So land sports.
I'm sorry, let's stick to the aquatics.
So aquatics does not have tryouts. They have a registration. Okay. And all athletes register I would say late August after JOs, which is in July. And so registration in the BVAC continues as it has been. So there will be no tryouts.
No tryouts. So how would you select the roster, the players to be on the roster?
So it's my understanding that it has been practiced at the Aquatic Center that, for example, if we have 25 athletes in an age group and that a tournament will allow, let's just say, 12 on the roster, they would consider the skill, the talent, the attendance, to make the call of which 12 athletes will attend that one certain tournament.
The certain tournament or for the team itself?
Well, they would represent the team for that specific tournament.
So do you think it would be better to have a tryout? So if you have 25 swimmers or water polo players and there's only 12 spots, wouldn't it be better to have a tryout?
So that is definitely something that we can explore. I know that it's been practiced, I think, since the beginning of water polo to have that, not tradition, but that practice. My understanding is that the athletes are brought from the swimming lessons. Mm-hmm. And then from there, they keep the interest in the water polo, and then the swim team assists the water polo competitive level. It's definitely something that we can explore. When we have 24 athletes, we also have a different color of cap team. One can be more developmental, and that has worked as well. And I think that the goal is to keep Commerce youth busy in the water and hopefully bring out some great athletes, and in turn, that produces good citizens, residents.
Okay, thank you for that. My next question is, what would you do, or what's the procedure at the aquatics if you already selected your team, and then with non-residents, and then we have a resident that's coming in at a later time of the season and wants to be part of the team? How would you handle that?
So the only time there would be a non-resident allowed would be if there would be room on the roster. And not just room on the roster, but that's that we've exhausted all our efforts in recruiting residents. So for example, with the team that, and we do have many of our boys teams that will not be recruiting non-residents because we have plenty of athletes who've registered. We do have a number of girl teams that we do need assistance in. So definitely always residents have a non-resident on the team. If you can just, again, the question, because I want to make sure I'm answering it.
So what would happen if there's already a selected team with non-residents and there's a resident that would like to participate on that team? What would happen?
Oh,
How would you
clearly
handle that?
understood. And so the guidelines give residents the opportunity to be priority. I think that athletes understand that at the point of that we would get to number 6, which would allow a non-resident, that at some point you have to have your team for the season. And so let's just say that we have 11 residents, well, 10 residents and 2 non-residents. And then mid-year, we would get someone who'd be interested, a resident, to register. Registration took place in August. And so at that point, that they would definitely be welcomed, because I don't believe we turn anyone away. But as far as making that team for the remainder of that season, that team particularly that I'm using an example would have, if they would have a full roster, they would not be recruiting at that time. But let's just say that there was 2 spots left. They would definitely be welcome to register.
Is this a seasonal or is this yearly?
For the
Being on the team?
yearly.
Yearly?
But a season lasts a year.
Okay. My next questions are for the program fees. Is this an annual fee or is it per season?
So the coaching staff is recommending an annual fee, but definitely that is up to the consideration and direction of the city council.
What do we do now for residents? Annual, right?
Correct, $99 a year.
So it's, I mean, I would say if the city council wants to consider a different amount, different than what's been staff's proposing, I think we, for ease of how we process these memberships, we keep it to once a year.
So the $200 I see here is 99 instead of $200? Is that what you're saying?
So what I'm saying is, staff's proposing $200. If the city council wishes to implement a different figure for non-residents, it still should be applied per year versus per season.
So do you believe, Mr. Adolfo, do you believe this is cost effective? We charge $200?
So I think we need to start somewhere. And because I did meet with the coaching staff, and allowing non-residents is to help our residents be able to be at a level of competition, to be seen by colleges, to be scouted by colleges. And coaches feel that although there may be one or two who will come from far, but the majority of athletes that they think are going to arrive to the front door is going to be the current athlete friends, neighbors, people who live across the street who do not live in in Commerce. And so because we already have the investment in coaching staff, in tournament fees, in the use of the pool, these don't add to allow 3 more athletes in to actually assist our residents to level up.
So the feedback essentially is that ultimately the proposed figure is a number for the city council to consider, and it is very, to be frank, it's very subsidized, right? Like all our programs. But the goal was not necessarily to recoup as much of the subsidization dollars, but more to ensure that the Commerce participants that do play in these sports have the opportunity to do so. There's enough folks who enter competitions, there's enough folks to run their practices. So allowing non-residents to participate at whatever the fee is, right? And I think we fully understand that it is heavily subsidized. Ultimately, the benefit is to our community with regards to our kids to be able to participate in these, particular to the day-to-day practices, right? Having enough kids to do that, and then as they advance in the competitive travel opportunities.
Okay, well, I feel that I would like to get more information before I approve this item because I feel that we need some policy and procedures in there for tryouts in case we get an overflow of children trying out for the same team. Also, I'd like to just more information. I would like for you to see if you could compare prices in the nearby cities like City of Downey, Bell Gardens, Montebello, see how much they charge their programs for water polo and swimming. Have you checked? I know that maybe I might have asked that. I'm not sure if I asked that or not, but I would like to see that before I make a decision.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Let's see, in Foothill Water Polo, for the year, it's $2,400. In North Irvine Water Polo Team, the season is $2,200. Icon Volleyball, the season ranges anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000. In the water polo, that does not include travel. In the Icon, that could possibly include travel. It just depends on the team that you landed.
Did you check the nearby cities? Maybe Montebello, just to compare since we're right next door.
So this is a competitive travel team, and many recreation
You
cities.
checked the travel teams. Okay.
Yeah, so from a apples to apples type comparison, we're fortunate the City of Commerce is the only municipality that sponsors travel experiences. Most everything else is recreational in nature, right? And those kids that, for example, whether through a city soccer league or AYSO, if they want to play year-round or play in more advanced levels, they normally join a club team or a travel team, but it's the parent's responsibility at that point to pay club membership dues. So we only compared the data, again, and our subsidization is probably way more than this because way more than the $2,200 or $2,400 because we have travel, we have buses, we have city staff. Certainly those operations don't have full-time coaches the way we do.
So that's why I'm a little concerned that we're not charging enough with the outside community. I like the fact that we're focusing on our residents because we live in an environment where we have pollution. So this program was made for our residents to provide for them something nice. And so I feel that a non-resident should pay a little bit more because we're on the map thanks to our water polo Olympians, Brenda and Patty Cardenas. And why are we not charging a lot of money? You know, why are we not competing with the market? That's what I want to know. So those are my comments. Thank you. Those are my comments. Thank you, Adolfo.
Councilmember Argumedo.
Thank you, Mayor. Adolfo, just to follow up, you've already just covered this right now, and I'm going back to the aquatics tryouts, and you mentioned that you can register, there's 25, you register all 25. But at the end, you have to basically have a specific roster, and that roster could be, you use the example of 12, I believe. So at that point, you're going to make a decision that, you're going to basically use the criteria, and your criteria was what?
So the criteria would be the athlete skill, the athletes being able to be coachable, attendance, and that would definitely include in the criteria.
Okay, and you also used an example of you wanted, I believe, this recommendation may have come from your staff saying that we want to level the team for competition, level it up.
Yeah.
So are you telling us that our teams have been leveled up? Is that right? By bringing in outside competition to level things up? Is that how we're managing that?
No, so we've not allowed non-residents in our travel team. We have allowed non-residents in our recreation sports, and that has assisted in keeping a team participating in our park leagues. So rather than maybe having two teams play each other for the season, which has happened in the past, and then the kids get bored and then they don't come back. What non-resident participation has done in the recreation teams is allowed us to have 4 teams and then have a league, and then the kids have more teams to play.
Got you. Yeah, and I understand that. The big question I have is that, again, the biggest concern I had was making sure that we did not displace Commerce residents or, not afford them the opportunity to compete. I realize it's competitive, and I realize that at some time, we probably want to bring in somebody. But I also believe that at this point, we do open it up for subjective. Somebody's going to go in there and they're going to be able to go out and, hey, we got these guys over here that are interested, and this would really, make us a lot more competitive. In other words, they would then maybe be more skilled. Maybe they'll show that they're more coachable. Maybe their attendance will be much better. Possibly. I mean, it could be the same, but again, somebody's making that decision there to say, hey, this is going to allow us to be more competitive. And this is where I have the concern about displacing potentially some of our Commerce residents, in particular in a case where you have, let's say, 24 kids, and you're going to cut that roster down to 12. Guess what? If you have people from the outside, all of a sudden, some of those individuals may have been recruited from conversations, from maybe even the coaches, being aware of the kids. Everybody knows in their sport. I boxed for 9 years, many years ago, but we all knew each other. In particular, your weight division, guess what? I know that guy from this area, that area, and I know where their experience is. So you always knew if you were going to go to a fight, hey, I already know what my competition is. The guy from this area over here, more than likely, that's going to be a really tough fight. If I end up in the tournament, and we're both in the same tournament, I know I'm going to be facing more than likely this guy. But that's what I mean. I don't want one of our kids being, not being able to make that roster, not being given that opportunity. And that's what I fear.
I think our program 100% values competition, right? But ultimately, the commitment is to our residents, right? So it's not that we're sacrificing, being able to be compete. In other words, we're not going to include a more talented sport athlete over a Commerce resident simply because of that, right? They're not. That's not the goal of this. The goal of this is ultimately to complete teams. That's it. I myself was on the varsity chess team, so I know all about being ultra competitive, but that's not the most important thing. Our most important thing is taking care of our residents.
I get it, but the door is open for those situations, and that's what I'm concerned with, because that's part of what people have complained about, and it's not that we've been doing it. We've been doing it. And I know it's happening. It's been happening, and that's where some of the people then start complaining. Some of the community will start, hey, my kid doesn't get the opportunity. How come they didn't get the opportunity? And that's why I asked last time around when this item was on the agenda. And you have done a good job, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate you outlining the policy. But again, the policy when it comes to that specific area, which our councilwoman asked about it in the aquatics, and she asked the question, and then you use that terminology, which then gives me it allows me to think that you obviously can do that, having 20, having whatever, and you break it down. Now you're going to base them on skill, coachable, attendance, and maybe other criteria. But the point is that, then you can displace a resident in the community. And that's where I have the concern. I realize you want to also be competitive, as a traveling team. You don't want to go out there and you're getting blown out. So it's one of those things where you need to balance this thing. But I just, I don't want to see any bigger problems with that, from our community. Displacing some of these individuals here in our community. If we have kids here in our community, we should give them that opportunity. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Understood.
Right? Thank you.
Councilwoman Arroyo?
First, both of you brought up really good hypothetical stuff that I hadn't thought about. So I respect the both scenarios because it does, right? Like it kind of open up the can of worms, and we've always talked about this, right? Allowing non-residents. But we also have to look at the reality of what's happening. And I only know this because my son's playing, right, in the travel sports, or else I would not know any of this, right? Even though I've been in recreation. But the reality is this, right? That can that happen? I mean, there's anything, right? There's a possibility of anything happening, but the reality is that we don't even have enough kids to make up teams right now. And I just want to urge us to really think about, I know we're focusing a lot on water polo, but just this weekend, the Commerce Crush Girls had to forfeit a tournament because they didn't have enough players, because they barely meet their criteria, and like 3 or 4 were out of town, and they don't have a bench, so now they forfeit a whole tournament, right? So, and those are the things that I would like for us to focus on, is that I have my trust in our coaches, in that they're going to do what we are asking as residents first. Now, yes, there is a competitive edge in me, right? Like, because you think about, like, this is travel sports, it's not recreation, and the way water polo put us on the map was by winning, right? Was by being competitive. So, and that's the mentality of travel sports. A travel sport is not recreation. Like, you're there to win. But that can't happen if there's not enough players on the team. And I think that's what we have to really focus on, is that the teams that are going to have non-residents are the ones that are suffering right now. And we have to focus on the land sports like soccer, right? The Hearts don't even have a team, right? I think there's only like 2 girls that are ready to play, but there's no team. Crush, who just forfeited a tournament. Boys soccer, I think the older league doesn't have enough players. So does it open up a can of worms? I think anything that we do here when we allow non-residents opens up a can of worms, but we also have to realize that by opening up that can, we're also giving our kids that competitive edge, and our kids the opportunity to play. So that's a comment that I wanted to make as far as that. As far as the fees go, you brought us examples, but those are teams in the OC, right? Like, we really have to think about, can this community and our neighboring communities, right? Can they afford those prices? Absolutely not. Or else even I would have taken my son somewhere else, right? But we have a great program here. It doesn't have to cost that much money. We're not in the OC. The demographic that we serve doesn't make OC money, right? So we have to remember that. We're here to serve our community, and they can't pay that much. And now if we're opening it up to that, charging more money, we're going to be in the same place, because people are not going to be able to afford to play it. And then our kids are, again, not going to be able to play. So I would really like for us to think about that as it relates to the fees. If we want to charge a little more, like, I don't know, $50, $100 more, if that's the will of the council, like, if that's what it's going to take to pass this, and I guess I have to bite the bullet on that. But I just think we're not losing money because the coaches are already there. The facility is already there. The money is already allotted for these coaches to coach these teams. So we're not really losing money. So I just really want to urge us to really make a decision today, because our kids are suffering. Like, they had to forfeit. I was really sad, when I got the phone call from the parent that said, like, hey, when are you guys going to move on this? And then they told me the scenario that just happened. And we have to think about that. And in reality, yeah, the water sports, there's never been a tryout. But soccer has tryouts, volleyball has tryouts, dance has tryouts, right? Performing arts have tryouts for their big productions. And historically, water polo never has. But I do know, right, that they're not going to throw in an athlete that doesn't meet the minimum requirements to be able to tread water or, to swim, right? So they're going to develop them, or they're going to already have to come in developed. So we also have to think about that criteria that, we're not going to, I know a coach is not going to say, like, hey, anybody come on and play water polo if they don't know how to swim, right? Just the way they move up from swimming lessons to the developmental team and so on, right? They already have to have a skill. And what they're looking for as far as attendance and all that, that's already set in place. They do that to our commerce, to the resident athletes, right? Which is good. Looking at attendance, looking at their grades. I believe you have to be on the team for 6 months before you even travel. So, which then would put us in a bind, right? If we don't have enough kids to travel. So those are just the things that I wanted to point out. One thing that after we voted on this, the previous council meeting, that I failed to bring up is, as I was, reflecting, is that, we did say that I believe non-residents would have to pay their own lodging, would have to do X, Y, and Z, right? They wouldn't be able to travel with the team. But I want us to reconsider that, because then now they're like, we're in the same boat where if they can't pay for their own lodging, now they can't go and travel. Now our kids can't go and play. And I didn't think about that till after I was reflecting on the meeting. And again, if we already have the staff going, we already have the lodging that we have to pay for our athletes, it doesn't make sense. And it's actually kind of sad to say, hey, you have to pay for your own room, you can't stay with the athletes. So I would like for us to actually consider that part of it. And that's it. Just, that's it. Thank you.
Can I say something?
If I can just clarify that one scenario. So if there was, let's just say, 4 kids going and they were sharing a room. So the non-resident, should there be a non-resident, that non-resident would pay their portion of that room, but the residents would obviously go for free. So they wouldn't be, and we would never do that, put somebody aside. Once you're part of the team, you're in. There are definitely fees that you have to provide for, but again, this is at your discretion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Mine is just it's just a comment. I understand where you're coming from about charging the fees and the community that we are, but a lot of times people leave City of Commerce to go play in these Orange County or different cities so that their children can get experience somewhere else. So I feel that we need to just focus on our residents and charge the correct fees to the outside. I don't know why we're catering so much to the outside community, but I feel that we should be able to charge them an appropriate amount so that, you know, we can make money for our city and for our kids that play water polo. That's my comments. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I think my colleagues brought up some really good points, but I think about this and, you know, I don't know that we can come up with the perfect policy to really drive this, right? So I think we really have to think about what can drive the greater good. And the only reason this is even coming before us is because we're struggling to fill teams, right? That's just the reality of the situation. And, you know, I won't repeat kind of what I said last meeting about, like, you know, we just don't have as many kids here and yada, yada, yada. I don't think I need to repeat that. But ultimately, I think it's worth trying something like this out and see how it goes. Just because, like I said, right now we're speculating a lot and we're trying to solve for risk. And I think there are some good guidelines here. And I don't necessarily know how we 100% solve for the scenario you brought up, right? Where we go from 24 to 12 and then who goes to compete, right? Because once teams are set, you know, you can't say, well, hey, you're starting because you're from Commerce and you're on the bench because you're not, right? Ultimately, it's competitive. And I think athletes do understand that environment. Right? So I personally would be okay with moving forward with something like this, seeing how it goes, and then we revisit it in 6 months, right? Just to see, like, hey, like, how was it implemented? What did we learn? Did it work? At that point, we probably receive some complaints, so we can use that to kind of fuel our recommendations and suggestions as well. But I think in order for us to deliver the best services and programs that we can from a sports standpoint to our youth, we need to fill teams and we need to be competitive. Right? So I think this accomplishes that mission. Now, if we want to look at pricing, right, you know, that's one thing. To Councilwoman Arboyo's point, I wouldn't go too high, right? Because then we end up kind of in the same situation that we're in. And we should also think about, you know, we're talking about these high prices for travel polo and travel volleyball, right? You know, is travel soccer similar? You know, is travel baseball similar? You know, so kind of keep that in mind as we kind of try to figure out whether 200 is the right price point for non-residents, or if we want to bring it up higher, right? But we do want to make it accessible, right? We want to make sure that we're filling up our teams and we're as competitive as possible. So I think this delivers on that mission of serving that purpose. So that's my comment.
Okay. I'm just going to ask for a motion.
I'd make the motion.
Okay.
I would move on staff's recommendations as presented today.
All right. The motion.
I would recommend that we, increase it to 300, and I think that's more than adequate based on not only these prices that were presented, but I think in general, most of our aquatics programs out there are, you know, probably at minimum $1,500, if not more. Yeah, definitely. But I would say that. But for me, I think the important thing is again making sure that we're not displacing at the point of trying to, you know, make our team, you know, to level it up. You know, where we're displacing Commerce residents because now they lose out on an opportunity to compete as well. So that's the big concern that I have. But I'm okay with doing $300, and we should include. I mean, if they're part of the team, we should include the cost of the travel.
That makes sense.
It would be fine, and more than, believe me, I mean, they get a much better deal anyways. They're still getting a great deal. So if we make those changes, I think it would be okay. But definitely. At least $300, I think would be good. And then, as our vice mayor recommended, I would like to revisit it after a year, after one season, and just look to see how things are working, see how things are going, and then we can then make further decisions based on that. So I'm okay with that.
So I would definitely amend my motion amend my motion, my previous motion, and make a motion to increase the fees to $300, but it would include the travel and the lodging. Yep. Okay, and that's my motion.
There's a motion.
And I would second that.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
As
passes.
long as we revisit it. I agree.
Absolutely. And our vice mayor or mayor pro tem recommended in 6 months, and then our councilmember Romero in a year. Let's look at it twice. Let's do it the halfway, take a look, see what's going on, and then when it hits a year, we just take a look again and see what's going on. So there's any opposed?
No.
See none, motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, so we have item number 13, and it's to name a section of a public right-of-way at the Mixmaster, which is off of South Atlantic Avenue, or is it South Atlantic Boulevard, I believe. Go ahead. I think this is misspelled the street. It's actually Boulevard.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and honorable members of the City Council. I'm here to present to you item number 13, resolution to commemoratively name a section of the public right-of-way on South Atlantic Avenue, Goodridge Boulevard, Calixto Walkway, and South Atlantic Avenue / Eastern Avenue, Botello Walkway, and allocate $5,546.75 towards the cost of the signage. A bit of background on this item: both Calixto Shibaha has artwork alongside Southeastern Avenue under the Goodridge Bridge. He has approximately 3 or 4 murals located alongside that walkway. And Paul Botello is also an artist that has artworks on the opposite side of South Atlantic / Southeastern Avenue, below the Goodridge Bridge. And both of these artists have been designated as part of the Arts District area. As part of tonight's discussion, we are proposing, or staff is proposing, to have both the artist Paul Botello and Calixto Shibaha have their rename the walkways. Calixto Walkway and Botello Walkway. As part of the attachments in the agenda, we have a mock-up of where we can place this signage as to properly be viewed on the Eastern Avenue Boulevard. And we have 2 arrows. One is going towards the South Atlantic / Goodridge Boulevard, and the other one is South Atlantic / Southeastern Boulevard, which would be named Botello Walkway. And this signage is just one-sided, though we do have the possibility of having it on both sides, so that way both pedestrians and the vehicles going southbound can view the signage. And the attachment B has proposed language that we can include on the signage. However, after discussing with our public works staff, they may suggest us to reconsider some of the language just because it's very lengthy, and we may just want to target just the main points of either Calixto and Paul Botello.
So we actually would ask that City Council, if approved, provide discretion as to how much language to put up and where to put it up.
Okay. So I don't think this sign should be really used for people that are driving by. So let's scratch that. So let's put the language that Anthony wrote already, and this is going to be for a walkway. People that are walking through there. If people that actually go there, you'll see that I have no idea where these tourists are coming from. but I've ran into people from China, from France, from Ireland, and they're walking to the Citadel. I have no idea where they're walking from, where they're staying, but they're staying in these areas that they just walk. They walk through these different areas. So I think it's just a special thing to really have. I think the sign needs to be bigger than that, and it needs to be backed up to the wall. And to make a couple of corrections, Calixto has 5 pieces, and Boteo has 4 pieces. And it's not Atlantic Avenue, it's Atlantic Boulevard. Just wanted to clear that up because it's written improperly here.
Okay.
I just think that it'll be something special for not only the community, but I mean, there's a lot of people that walk through these areas to be able to understand what's going on, who these artists are. Both artists have art all over the world, so I think that it'll be nice to have. But also at the same time, lighting. We need lighting. We need cameras. I think it's been like 8 months now, and we've been trying to really figure out what's going on with the lighting. To our city manager, Ernie, do you have any update on that? I mean, it's been almost a year.
Well, so we're actually moving forward with outside external lighting. The issue initially, we were trying to secure it, right? Because right now it's essentially going to be on the outside mounted, right? The lines, power lines, and the light themselves. Initially, the Public Works Department was looking at ways to secure it, meaning going through the wall, coming out of the wall there. But because of ownership rights and a variety of issues that we discovered going through that process, we've actually already approved moving forward with the outside lighting.
We have approved it?
We have approved it, yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
City Manager, if you don't mind, I think we went over some of the potential solutions, and I think we came up with a solution, which was use the existing railing that's already there and use that to anchor the appropriate lighting and whatnot. But I guess what we just need is a time frame. When are they going to come out? When are they going to be providing the lighting?
So I'll go with the Public Works staff, as Mr. Shahid is not here with us tonight, but I'll get that and I'll provide it to you this week as far as when it's actually going to be installed. But I know we signed a conscription for the outside mounting. It's essentially railing on the top with overhead lighting. So.
I mean, we also had, not to keep bringing this up, but we also have Frida, and that's a freestanding building by itself. I don't understand what the issue is there either. That there's still no solution for lighting. When there's conduit all over that building, there's electrical there, so I don't understand that. So if we could really take a look at that and get a real report from Shahid, I think that'll be good to really get updated. But what I'm suggesting here is maybe two of us from the art committee, or 3 separate times, or all council to walk separate times to not violate the Brown Act, and to really take a look at like where this should be set. Instead of putting it on a pole close to the street, I don't think it should really go there. Like I said, this is for a walkway, so it should be tucked away where people that are walking through can see it. I mean, people already see the art, but they're not going to stop to read it. So let's really have a great placement for it. And I don't know if $5,000 is going to cut it if it's a bigger sign or not. So I don't know if you guys want to approve just a certain limit for that, not to exceed a certain, or if we just approve that and see what we can come up with. But I think it should be different than a pole and facing the street. That's my suggestion.
I also wanted to add that the option to install onto the wall is currently being proposed as well. However, we would need to speak with our structural engineer to review that.
I was going to
potential.
say that. We're going to get into that.
Well, instead of a wall, just like who's ever proposing this pole close to the street, we could just put the pole extremely close to the wall and screw it onto the ground, just the way this was going to be screwed on, and then it can hold the plaque there.
So as you recommend, right? If the committee can kind of view it, and we'll have them give you the options. the issue is we don't own that wall, right? That bridge itself is not controlled by the city, so, and this is according to the engineers, right, it's caused a lot of the issues with the pipelines. We can't drill into that wall, so I think what you're proposing is a pole like that or something similar, or potentially it could be the same solution as a lighting, which is an overhead, railing that supports the signage.
Right. That's it. Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, if you don't mind getting us a time frame when, how soon that can be done, because I think that would be of great benefit to that whole area there. It really would beautify it. I think it would highlight the paintings, and I think people would receive that really well. So we're trying to get those lights on there. Thank
Right.
you.
So, I mean,
Yeah, no, and I think you bring up a good point. I think the lighting's really important. And there are many people that walk through that bridge, right? And there's going to be a lot more eyes on it, pedestrians, over the holidays. So I think this is a good way to commemorate, what's been done in that intersection. And with the lights, it's just going to amplify it a lot more. So I think it makes sense.
Cool.
So
Okay.
I'll take a walk and I'll figure out.
Absolutely. So what I'm recommending is for us to move forward. I want to make a motion to move forward. However, I do want our city council to go there to really choose a nice spot. As soon as we figure out the logistics, then we don't have to come back to city council. Staff can then move forward.
Yeah, so you could approve the item tonight with the budget amount that's proposed or a different amount, and give discretion to staff upon consultation of the various council members to ultimately finalize where it'll be located and how it'll be located.
Okay. Do you guys want to stick with that budget, or do you want to add a little bit more?
Stick with it. Stick with the budget.
Budget-wise, I think there was an appropriation, right? So I think given the signage, we're estimating it at 5,500, but it doesn't impact the budget because there's an appropriation. I guess how much is left towards the appropriation, right? Because it's budgeted, right? We're just trying to figure out what the amount is.
Correct.
So the budget amount is, I think, strictly the procurement of the signage. It did not include the installation, right?
No, but my point is the mayor is saying, hey, we don't know if it's going to cost 5,500, so do we just approve a higher amount? And
Yeah, so I think,
and my thoughts are that's fine, if we're going to stick within the appropriation, right?
Yeah.
if I would recommend, because this would be within the discretion of staff, right, as far as the budgeted amount, if city council approves this amount plus installation cost, I think that would be appropriate.
Approve it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. That's what okay. So I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
There's a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Okay. So now we're going to item number 14. It's adoption and waiving the second reading of ordinance number 826, amending the Commerce Municipal Code.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Jessica Serrano, your Community Development Director. And tonight's item agenda is the second reading and the public hearing of an ordinance to amend Title 15 of the city's municipal code to adopt by reference Title 24, the 2025 California Building Standards Code. This item was introduced for first reading on October 28th at the City Council meeting, and a second reading and public hearing is scheduled for tonight. This is a routine code update that happens every 3 years due to the updates that are made by the California Building Standards Commission to statewide construction codes every 3 years. Staff is recommending that the City Council conduct a public hearing for the second reading and approve the proposed ordinance adopting the 2025 California Building Standards Codes, along with specific local amendments that are necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of our community. With this, I conclude my presentation. I'm available, as well as our team from TransTech that's sitting in the audience. We're available to answer any questions.
Does City Council have any questions? City Council does not have any questions. Okay, am I going to open up the public hearing for this? The public hearing is now open. Is there any public speakers? Seeing none, it is now closed. Is there going to be a reading? Okay.
What I'll do is I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation per what's in the staff report. And yep, that's the recommendation, right?
Okay, there's a motion.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. All right. Okay. We're waiting the second reading. We don't need to read it, so motion is now closed. So then I'm going to move on to city council reports. Who would like to go first? My left or my right?
I'll just wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, especially during these trying times for our nation, for our community. It's just so important, not just for Thanksgiving, but every day, right? To thank God for everything that we have, all the blessings and all the trials. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you to our staff for a wonderful turkey distribution, to our collaborators, Assembly Member Mark Gonzalez, Supervisor Janice Hahn, and Matt, her staffer Matt Johnson, who was a little stressed out, but was up there doing his job. To all of our volunteers, we had the kids from Unplugged, some of the boys from water polo, some of the girls from water polo, a lot of the Crush girls, some of the members of our community were out there. I see Mr. Alex Rendon, Commissioner Rendon out there volunteering. Our senior commissioners, Gloria Covian, Maria Barrera, and just members of our community that reached out that wanted to volunteer, Rachel and little Ruben, and Martha Alvarez and her daughters and her son. So the Rice siblings as well. Our regular group of volunteers that always comes out. So thank you to them, and thank you to our staff who just did a phenomenal job of organizing behind the scenes, on scene, Parks and Rec, and Public Works. So with that, just happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I attended the 5K Turkey Trot. It was a very exciting event for me. Just to see everyone cheering and laughing, seeing the people cross the finish line, that's just an exciting sport. I just think it's such a hard sport because you're running and you're out of breath. I think that's what happened to our city manager. He was out of breath, he almost passed out, but that's okay. He made it through. It's an uplifting event, which you get to see different ages come through the finish line, and they celebrating health, community, and fun. So I'm glad that I was a part of that. But I'd also like to take a brief moment to extend holiday wishes to all our city residents, employees, and families this Thanksgiving holiday. May the holiday bring time of rest, fun, thankful, and safe for you and your loved ones. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Councilor Romero.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think you've already, all of you put it quite well there. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. That turkey giveaway was just great. It continues to get better and better. Very good turnout. And I want to thank one of our volunteers out there, Alex. Thank you. Appreciate you being there. You're a trooper out there, and just everybody that showed up, all of our staff. I really appreciate the great work you all did, because it was, I saw the line, and it was already going all the way down to Eastern. And in the past, it's taken us a little while for it to dwindle down. But I think by 10:30, the line was already gone. Everybody had been taken care of, and you still were getting a couple of cars and people that were walking up, and they were also being taken care of. So I think, over time, in looking at things, all of you have just figured out a way to just make it run a lot smoother. But thanks to everybody that contributed, from our supervisor, Janice Hahn, and our assembly member, Mark Gonzalez, and of course also I believe our senator, Lina Gonzalez, couldn't be there, but she was also helpful as well. And just everybody that played a role in this whole thing did a super job. So thank all of you. And again, just happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll echo some of the sentiments that my colleagues shared. I attended the Turkey Trot on November 15th, and it was a gorgeous, cloudy, rainy day that morning. And I just really want to thank Parks and Recreation, Public Works, Public Safety, all city staff who really turned out and helped put together just a phenomenal event. I know it wasn't easy to set up in the rain, then break down in the rain, and then of course all of the, I'm going to call it somewhat chaos, but it's a good chaos that happens while the event is happening. But also, I want to thank our community for attending. I think we had something like 1,300 people that registered. I think I saw that over 900 actually showed up on that rainy day. So I think that says a lot about our community, right? Just the determination, the grit, and the drive to commit to something and actually get it done. So kudos to our city. Also, the turkey giveaway yesterday, great event. Want to thank city staff for that as well. Parks and Rec, Public Works, Public Safety, everybody else that was involved. As well as thanking our Assembly Member Mark Gonzalez, the Office of Supervisor Janice Hahn, and the Office of Lena Gonzalez for their participation, but also our Sheriff's Department, right? Our deputies were there, and Captain Hinchman was also there for a portion of it. So really want to thank her and the team for attending, as well as Cal Water. They were also here and they helped out. It got a little intense at the beginning because the turkeys were late, right? We started at 9, but the turkeys didn't show up till about 9:15. So once the truck showed up with the turkeys, it was all hands on deck and we were loading them up into the bags. So I think everybody put in and ultimately went on pretty smoothly, I thought. So thought it was a great event. So that's all I have to report, but have a great Thanksgiving to those who celebrate it, and we'll do this again in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Thank you. So I didn't get to attend that event. I actually flew out to Hawaii to go see my son. He's in the Marine Corps, and he got some orders that within 10 days they were going to ship them out. Don't know where. So just wanted to get out there and at least see him. And it was his birthday on the 22nd birthday. So happy birthday, Noah. And today I stopped at the senior center. The Calixto's there every Tuesday. If anybody wants to join the seniors, it's I think limited to 15, and then now I have other seniors that we want another class because it's packed. But they're on their second painting, and they're faster and they're better and they're having a lot of fun. And some of the seniors, I'll just be honest, some of the seniors that I wouldn't talk to in the past are starting to talk to me now. I think that art really brings people together. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you that the art, it's really beautiful what they've created. I know that you guys seen the first set, but I went back today thinking they were still going to be working on the first set, but they're on their second set. And now what I'm hearing is that now after they're done with this, they're actually going to create the art piece together. And they're asking, what are we going to do with all this art that we created? They want to display it. They want to show it off. They want to have an event where they can come talk about their experiences painting these little paintings, and some of them are asking if they can sell it. So Calixto said he'll sell them. He'll help them sell the paintings. Hopefully, one of them become a famous artist. But there was a 90 plus year old senior in there that's painting, and it's beautiful. And the sparkle in their eyes is just amazing to see that. How they're so excited to share this art piece. It's pretty awesome to see. So I spoke to Ernie about what are we going to do about the second class to have other seniors that can attend that class. So I think that it's something special. They're happy, so that's good. As long as our seniors are happy, good. And so that's for our staff and residents and my colleagues, we have a nice, beautiful, safe Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. The meeting's adjourned.